My name's Jeff, and I love beer. I don't just mean that I love to drink it though. I mean I'm passionate about the history of beer, how it's made, and what's in store for the future of beer. Some might call me a beer snob, but I see it a bit differently. I want to learn about all beers. It's time to go exploring in the world of beer. The history of beer is pretty amazing, but so is the process of creating it. To do that, you need something called hops. That's why we've come outside of San Diego to this place. This is the Snob Ranch, and they grow those glorious little buds. Not those buds. This is a beer show. That's a different show. Eric, pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks for having us here. This is an awesome location, not just because it's related to beer, but that's part of it. Can you tell us a little bit about what Snob Ranch is?
Yeah, we originally, my wife's grandfather purchased the property as a real estate speculation, and my mother and father-in-law, they were here so much that they asked if they could raise their children here. So they moved to the ranch in 1979 and did the whole ranching, farming thing, chickens, pigs, cows, and experimented with different animals, and then they just really fell in love with bison. Over time, being involved with quality food, local meat, craft beer kept coming up.
Yeah.
Since we were involved with the Brewers Association, we realized there was a hop shortage. We said, well, they won't let us brew because we're agriculturally zoned. Hops are agriculture, let's give it a shot and see what it does. So we put some experimental plants in the ground, and we're surprised to see that some did well, and bumped it up from there. So now we're up to 2 acres.
So what is the process like to go from, starting this to picking it off the vine?
Well, how about I show you the field and we can start there?
That's a good idea. After you.
Cool, thanks.
Ooh, side by side. Can I drive it?
It's my wife's job.
All right. So this is where it all goes down, huh?
Yep, this is where we grow them. First thing we do is put the trellis system in, which is a pole that's pounded 2 feet into the ground. And then we put our top cable on that'll support our string that holds the hop plant. And then we put the bottom cable down at the bottom to keep the drip irrigation up off the ground. Once we know where the water is watering, we'll actually dig a hole and plant the root. The root is actually, it's called a rhizome. A rhizome is similar to like a ginger. It actually kind of grows sideways along the surface. And that's the best way to propagate hops. You've got a perfect clone of the same breeding stock, genetic stock, basically. So put those in the ground, start the water going, and hopefully...
Magic happens.
Yeah.
When the hop season's in full swing, people can actually come and get their own hops from you?
Yeah, we let people... We used to do a pick your own where you could actually come out into the field and pick, but August is our harvest season. Oh. So it's brutal out here in the sun, and we have rattlesnakes and fire ants.
So it's probably better to let you guys handle that. But
we figured
it's pretty neat, though.
Bring it into people. They can take it home. They can pick it in the air conditioning, take it to the pub, pick their hops while they're drinking a beer.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. This is pretty awesome stuff. Now, you said you brew some of your own stuff here as well, just for yourself.
I do. Yeah, I try to do a wet hop beer every year, or a couple if I have time to do it. I didn't have a chance to this year just because we just brought in this new machine that we use for harvesting the hops. So putting that machine together was a pretty major feat.
So that big machine's on site?
Yeah.
Maybe we should go take a look at that.
Yeah, we can do that.
This looks like a great big toy.
This is, yes.
What is this thing?
This is a Wolf hop picker, originally made in Germany in 1972. It was converted to have more capacity and at some point, I don't know when. So it's considered a WHE 170. So it has the capacity of doing 170 binds per hour. So our binds are 10 foot, so we could probably even do double that possibly, which just means a lot of hops really fast, which is cool.
How does this thing even work?
All right, so basically we start at this end, and it's the bind feed arm. So we feed the bind into one arm, It picks the vine up, takes it through the top, and all these spinning wheels
Yeah.
are connected to drums with wooden arms that have picking fingers on them. And those picking fingers spin, and it strips all the leaf and hop cones.
So the vine is the whole strand.
The whole, the whole strand. So a vine is like a grapevine. They grow by wrapping around with their little tendrils. A vine is a vine that uses like a burr. So that vine goes through, the picking drums strip everything off, and then it falls down through a series of conveyors, and then there's a blower in here that uses air to help separate the leaves from the cones. And you get trash out the back end, and you get finished hops out the side.
Let's go take a look at the other side of this thing. It's pretty cool. So this is where the good stuff comes out.
This is where the good stuff comes out. This is where we can see most of what's going on with the machine and control it.
So you actually operate from right there.
Yeah, this is where all the switches and everything are. So the person who runs the machine would be one person. That way they always know what's happening with the machine. And you can adjust certain things to make sure that with different varieties of hops even, you can change angles and stuff so that it just works better with certain ones. And by little minor adjustments, you can actually get a very, very clean pick, which is cool.
Interesting. I mean, it's a lot to take in. It's a big industrial piece of equipment, which is interesting to see it surrounded by nature and buffalo and the field. But I mean, this thing does a pretty darn good service because it would suck to do this by hand.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
This is where the finished hops would come from, and I know we're out of season, but do you have any finished hops on the ground?
I do. I have dried hops that we store so that we can sell to breweries and home brewers throughout the year.
Perfect. Let's take a look at those.
All right, let's do it.
So we're in a freezer.
A freezer, yes.
I guess you have to keep these things cold.
Cold is good. Heat is bad for hops.
Right.
Heat, light, and oxygen.
So what's in this bucket?
So these, I call these hop growlers or hop kegs. So it's cool because they're reusable or recyclable. I just drop in an oxygen absorber packet and put a lid on these, and it pulls all the air out. That way there's no oxygen. It's dark in the freezer, and it's really cold. So it keeps them really fresh for longer periods of time.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So all of these buckets are hops.
All these buckets are hops, yep.
And then you got some vacuum sealed stuff.
Yep.
And
that was the initial way that we were preserving them. We found that all that packaging was just very labor intensive and kind of wasteful. So.
But if you had something like this and you had it frozen, how long do you think this would be good for?
A couple of years.
Really?
2 years. I mean, the sooner you can use them, the better.
Sure.
But worst case scenario, open it up and see if it smells good.
Right.
See if you like it. See if you can work with it.
So you've got all these hops here. You've got home brewing equipment. You've got to have some beer here, right?
I do.
Think we can try some?
Let's try some.
All right, let's get out of this freezer too.
Yeah, it's cold. Cold beer, not cold freezer.
Eric, I got to thank you a lot for showing us around. The property's beautiful. What you're producing is awesome because it creates beer. The gear was awesome. I also love seeing the buffalo. That was really cool.
Right.
So thanks for showing us around, but also teaching us a whole lot about hops today. More importantly, thank you for sharing some beer.
Cheers.
Cheers. That is delicious.
Like that?
Yeah, that's really good.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.